Yo, what's going on, guys? You got your boy AAron2420 bringing you guys first draft analysis of Gen 8. We're doing our GDL draft analysis. This is a league that I am running with Leo. Was originally going to be just a one-season thing. We think that we might do another season in the future. Just depends how this one goes. If you guys enjoy, leave a like down below. We're starting off the draft analysis strong with John Jr. and I today. The rest of the schedule is going to be on the Twitter. Or at least, if not on Twitter, we'll be tweeting them out like day after the draft analysis uploads on Twitter. So follow the Twitter, follow the coaches, link description below. Tomorrow, I'll let you guys know tomorrow's coaches at the very least, or I'll actually just mention the schedule real quick now. So we have John Jr. and I today, 6 Foot Hacks, aka Leo, and Chizzy tomorrow. Mid and Die on the 4th, which is Saturday. Sunday is going to be Mono and Nate. Then we have Monday being Frost and Ogle. Tuesday is Randy and Matt. And then I'm doing PRs with Leo on the 8th for post-draft. I'm not sure which of our channels that'll go up on, I'm not gonna lie. But it will nonetheless be going up. So make sure you guys watch all the draft analysis so you guys are prepared for the PRs on the 8th. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into things. So, originally with this draft, actually, I got really lucky. Like, I got ridiculously lucky. And I actually got first pick overall. However, I decided, you know what? I had second pick overall in my league. Which, spoilers, I'm not uploading my league. HBL, I'm bringing it back for, like, a season. It'll probably just be a one-season return. And I didn't feel like uploading it, to be honest. I just wanted to keep it ridiculously casual. So, I got second pick in there. And I was like, you know what? I got Dragon Bolt there. I don't really want to get Dragon Bolt here again. If you guys didn't see my BBL run, you know I'm not a fan of Aegislash. For my Season 2 run, at least, I dropped it in a heartbeat. And especially, no Toxic Aegislash, I really was not a fan. And I wasn't crazy on Darm, in all honesty. Not that Darm is a bad Pokemon by any means, I think it's a phenomenal Pokemon. But I just really didn't want to use it, to be honest. So I was like, you know what? Who wants my first pick? And I get my first pick to Leo. And then, luckily, Mid still wanted an upper pick because he had back wheel. So he traded his Leo's third pick for 12th. So I got back wheel like I wanted. And then Mid got third overall. He got his Aegislash. And then Leo got first overall, where he got G-Darm. So congratulations to you guys for getting what you wanted. And thanks to me, I got my wheel pick. I figured I'd much rather preferred wheel, especially in such a limited draft pool. This allowed me to get a really strong core early on, and I think that my starting core was really phenomenal, honestly. I think it was one of my better starting cores for a back wheel. We start off with Tyranitar. Now, one of the strengths of Tyranitar this generation is honestly just the sheer bulk and offense. In such a limited pool, I think that having T-Tar is honestly really good steal, because a lot of dark types are hurt by Pursuit, so that obviously does hurt T-Tar. However, T-Tar is not hurt by the lack of knockoff from a lot of dark types, because it just never had it. So, for a lot of dark types, they lost both of those, whereas T-Tar only lost one of them and just never had the other. It's a great rocker. Sand Setter, I'll get into why Sand matters a lot later on in the draft. If you guys somehow couldn't tell, in limited decks, believe it or not, Excadrill was a round 1 pick. Believe it or not. I knew there was no chance in hell I got it, but I didn't feel like getting pick 1 Drill, and I know if I got Drill, someone would have taken T-Tar from me. I figured it was a bound to happen thing, because T-Tar is actually really phenomenal in this format, in my opinion. If we look at the draft board, there isn't a ton of mods in Tier 1 that actually, like, truly beat Tyranitar. In terms of Tier 1, Barrascuda would, to an extent, did not go drafted. Conk does. Corviknight does to an extent, though can definitely be worked around, I will say. Dragavolt and Dragazol, to an extent, again, can both be worked around. Scuda, though, is really AIDS, I'm not gonna lie. Scuda is ridiculously AIDS for T-Tar. Let's see. Drill obviously beats it. But I guess to an extent can be worked around, but probably not really. Like, I would probably need to trick him up. Though the Drill and Scuda so far are the only two really hard checks. Darm is an issue, but again, can be muscled past. Gengar, again, an issue, but can be muscled past. Though to be fair, more of an issue this gen. Hawlucha can definitely be muscle past. 100% this gen. Como, that's really AIDS one, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty AIDS one. And then otherwise, like, that's really it. Like, there are other ones that have, like, coverage, like, for Uniclus gets Focus Blast, obviously. It's not really beating it, though, just because it's getting underpaced. It's always underpacing. It would need to trick him up, to be honest. Weavile with Low Kick. If you're running Local Weavile, you probably have the Moose up for this gen. But, I mean, Weed Violent in general could definitely be muscle pass as well. So most of its checks, T-Tar can work around. And it has a few of them, to be fair. But it can definitely work around them with things like with DD, Bandit Test as well, can put a lot of pressure. I think as well, having good team support with T-Tar helps a lot as well. And this also is a great paired mon with my next pick, because my next pick does handle fighting types really well. So things like Kong, for example, will get blown back. Also, fighting coverage from mons like Scuda, of course, gets demolished. This thing can take hits from a lot of the coverages, so while not necessarily always like being a hard counter, it can definitely muscle past a lot of those mons and also beat a lot of them pretty well. And that's gonna be ridiculous. So I got ridiculous with T-Tar purely for the fact, honestly, just because I felt like that they covered each other's weaknesses pretty well. T-Tar is obviously going to be able to beat a lot of ghosts in most cases for ridiculous, and ridiculous can beat fighting types. Both of the slower ends, I can definitely take advantage of Trick Room, and this generation I thought that was actually really good because of the lack of speed immediately. If you're not getting Scuda or Dragapult, your speed options are actually pretty limited. Gengar would probably be one of the next fastest viable mons. Then you get into things like, well, Rabami's also actually a pretty viable fast mon. But your average speed is probably like 95 to 90 this gen, I would say. And that's really not that great, in all honesty. And Trick Room can definitely take advantage of this. So I think that Ridiculous plus T-Tar was actually a really solid core. We have a Rock Setter already. We have a nice wall with recovery already. We have Trick Room support already. We have setups for speed as well. We have a great set of choice mons. Ridiculous not overly great with specs, but it can definitely afford it. But T-Tar is a great banded mon in my opinion. So we do have a lot of diversity to our team. We also have a nice bulk to our team that is not passive either, which I think is really great. Especially with timer being really short this generation. You want mons that can switch in reliably, but still fire back before you do lose the timer. Because it is 20-minute timer, so that is a big difference. And I think that'll be really helpful with Ridiculous. Next up, we get into our next set of wall core. This I really just wanted a really hard breaker dedicated to breaking, because I don't want to dedicate T-Tar to breaking every week. I want it to be a sweeper some games, I want it to be a breaker some games, I want it to be a rock setter some games, even support in some games. But this mod I want to be specifically dedicated to breaking. That could, I guess, do other things, but I want to dedicate to breaking. And that is Surfetched. I saw Surfetched tier 3, and I'm not gonna lie, this thing could have probably been a tier 2 mod, in Galar at least. In Galar decks, the lack of fighting types that are reliable is actually really criminal, to be honest. It has an okay speed tier, pretty okay bulk. But what thrives for this mod is 135 attack with Scrappy. That is matching Megalopony attack stat, but this thing can also hold the choice band. So things like Manabuzz are guaranteed to be KO'd by this. Things like Aegislash are slaughtered by this. And those are some pretty bulky mons. I'm going for a week 1 prep in all honesty. This thing has great coverage for things like fairies, for bugs, for other mons that would, even for psychics as well, they would otherwise be fighting resist. The only thing it doesn't have super effective coverage for is flying types. But there are a lot of flying types that do get hit super effectively by some coverage this thing has, or at bare minimum neutrally at least. So we take that. This thing of course does still benefit from Trick Room. Base 65 speed isn't that great. However, something as well is that this thing can also definitely boost its speed from something like a Subsalic SD set. And against a lot of mons this metagame, that can actually be terrifying. Because that +1 speed will outpace a ton of mons. So yeah, I think this thing is really good at mon. It happens to get Defog and Roost too. I don't know if I'll ever click Defog at least. Roost will probably be a nice bulky option in all honesty. But yeah, we'll take those. Pure Fighting as well, really nice. Really, really nice to be honest. Sadly no priority, which I like a lot on fighting types. But it's really not the end of the world in all honesty. It's really not that big of a deal. I think it's like Conk, this gen, and Girder that get it. So I was not that hurt in all honesty. Next up, we have Copper Jaw. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was really indifferent on if I wanted this or Duraludon. Week 1 prep came along, and I realized I made the right choice. Copper Jaw, another Trick Room abuser. This thing hits monstrously hard in prep. 130 attack. You thought Nidoking hit hard? Nidoking is like base 85 special attack. This thing is 130. This thing is ridiculously hard offensively. Sadly, it's slow, and its bulk is kind of at best. I mean, it's not bad by any means for Galar standards, but in general, it's not the best. But I think this mon I have faith in. It's a nice rock setter as well, so it's taking pressure off a T-Tar to run rocks every week. Has a phenomenal coverage pool for a steel type at that. Like, its coverage pool probably rivals normal types, I would argue. Which I think is really phenomenal. We are getting very physical heavy on this roster. But I do patch that up a bit later on. I think that the Copper Jaw was a really must-have on the team. And I also like the special bulk on this more so than Duraludon. And while T-Tar is a really specially bulky mon, so I didn't necessarily need it, I thought it was still a really good pick to have, so we're going to go with it. I think that I like the mon a lot more in prep than I would have drawn in. I think the diversity is really nice, but we'll see. Next up, we have Flygon. Now, Flygon is a very weird pick, especially for this round at that. Even in Galar standards, I would argue this is a really stretched pick, but the big reason was honestly the ground immunity. I thought the ground immunity, while being a nice ground, it's giving me electric and ground immunities, which I thought were really important. Electric, not necessarily yet, but it will become more important later on with my draft. But ground immunity especially. My team is extremely ground weak right now, and with a couple mons I plan on getting later on, this is very vital to my defensive core. It gives me a nice momentum, a base 100 mon. It's a nice band option as well as generation. I thought it would be really stupid to not get this in all honesty. Also, it does get some nice options this generation through things like First Impression. I think it's actually really cool. Just the banded priority on that, it's not bad for Galar standards. Sadly, it gets no defog this generation or Roost, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll make it work. I think this is still not a bad pick by any means, but I think I definitely stretched a little bit picking it this early. I don't think I would have gotten sniped, but who knows. Next up on the same wheel, I got Rillaboom. I thought Rillaboom was another great ground switching. And while Rillaboom doesn't have recovery, which is actually pretty bad for a grass type, to be honest, not have recovery, it gets Leech Seed at least. It does have Drain Punch as well. Something else is this base 85 speed tier is actually really good for such a bulky mon in Galar. Like, it's Cresselia speed tier, and obviously not Cresselia bulk by any stretch. But it does have pretty nice bulk, I'll say. It's a great band option as well with 125 attack. It has a pretty okay coverage pool. Drum beating is honestly really solid. It's going to guarantee lower speed, so anything that tries to switch in will probably get underpaced if I do click drum beating, which is actually pretty clean. I do like that a lot. This thing gets bulk up as well as set up. It has pretty okay utility, I guess. I don't know. I think I'm just going in circles at this point. I think that Rillaboom was honestly just a really solid grass for what was left. There wasn't a ton in tier 2 I actually really liked at this point anyway. But Rillaboom was solid. I would have gotten Appleton if it was around, but it wasn't. Appleton, I believe, went like around 3 or 4. Yeah, round 3. So Appleton I would have gotten at this point. I would have gotten to the Flygon wheel instead of Flygon, but it was taken. I anticipated it to be taken, but I was not getting it round 3, 4. To be fair, it would have gotten sniped for me anyway, because it went like 2 picks before me. Yeah, literally 2 picks before I got the Surfetch Copper Jaw wheel. So it wasn't getting to me. So because of that, I got Rillaboom. I thought it was still a really good pick, though. Next up, we got Charizard. I like Charizard a lot this gen for a tier 4. In all honesty, I thought it was a really solid breaker. It gives you a nice special option, and also, again, another base 100, which is pretty decently fast this generation. It's a nice ground immunity should something like Bull Breaker Drill come. Though, to be fair, Rock Slide is still annoying, but it will at least force some options, because if Drill is trying to outpace, it's going to go for Scarfed, and then if it's locking into Rock Slide, I do, of course, have switches to that, like Copper Jaw, Tyranitar, Rillaboom, etc. And if it's Earthquake, again, Rillaboom, Charizard, Flygon all switch into that. At least Flygon is not Bull Breaker. So we do have options, of course, for counterplay, outside of Sand at least. And with Stand Up, I do have other options later on I'll get into in a moment. But this thing is definitely not bad. I think also the base 100 is, again, really good speed tier. Solar Power is clean. I can run maybe like a Sunny Day set on this. Might not be bad. It's tier 4. Realistically, I truthfully did not like a lot of tier 4. It was either this or Centiskorch. I think we're both. Or no, Centiskorch I think went like round 2 or something. Centiskorch. I know it went ridiculously early. I truthfully forget what round it went. Centiskorch went round 6. Okay, so it actually went a little bit later. I thought it went. Point is though, it went too early for me to grab it. So I was sniped on that. There really wasn't any other fire types I liked in general at this point. It was either that or I got something in tier 5, like in NFE. I could have gotten Torkoal, I guess, or Ninetales, but I think I just like the sheer, like the ground immunity of this, the reliable ground immunity. So yeah. Next up, we got Mareanie. I truthfully just got this for the ground immunity, also the regen core with the Reuniclus in this. Basically just baby Reunie Pex, and I thought it was really cool. Also, T-Spikes are nice. There's not really a lot to say about this mon though, and honestly, you guys know what it does. It has like 4 or 5 viable moves, and that's really it. Also, it's a wall with Toxic. It was actually a lot more important this gen because a lot of walls lost Toxic, so I think it's really cool. Having T-Spikes as well, I think is a lot more important because of that. So yeah, I think it's really good. Rapidash. I know dual Psychic. I wanted an offensive fairy, and honestly, I thought my team had enough bulky mons with Mareanie Pex. With Mareanie Reuniclus plus Rillaboom as well. I didn't really need the defensiveness. Also, Copper Jaw is pretty defensive to an extent as well. So I figured that the fastness, the 105 speed was really important. I thought that 105 is like the 101. Like 105, 101 and up is like 111 of last gen. So I think that this was a really good speed tier to hit. It's one of the fastest mods around that I could have gotten by far, I think. I think the next fast, I think Frost Slash was the only other possible option. But I didn't like Frost Slash just because it felt too passive. This is a nice setup sweeper as well. I thought it was really cool. Again, another physical mod, but I thought the offensive type was still really good. So yeah, we'll see how it does. I'm really iffy on this, but I thought the offensive psychic plus the bulky psychic was really clean. Gave Runic some more defensive purpose, but still Runic, of course, could be a special psychic. And Psychic is Gen as well, not being able to be pursuit trapped is really nice for them. So why not have 2 psychics? They're not that big of a deal. T-Tar will cover the ghosts well anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Finally, we get to our D-Max captain. The way that GDL worked this season, you get to pick one tier 5 mod to be your D-Max captain. I chose Drillbur. There were a few reasons I chose Drillbur in all honesty. The biggest reason being that I have T-Tar, and I thought that having a Weather Abuser in tier 5 was really nice. I've done the reverse of Hippopotas plus Extra Drill, and I wanted to try it because I thought it'd be really funny, to be honest. So yeah, we did that. I drafted this originally as a shitpost, in all honesty. But then I prepped for my week 1, and this thing is disgusting. I originally thought this was like a at best max captain, because I'm sort of forced to run a Violate and lose out on damage, or pick Life Orb, and then lose out on bulk. Because this is a pretty lackluster mod, in all honesty, for tier 5. But then I remember this is Galar Dex, and that's a lot more limited of a pool. And even things with Dynamax at +2, I can OHKO things like Mana Buzz with max moves, Gastron gets OHKO'd, like ridiculously fat mods. You wouldn't think they get OHKO'd, but they do with Life Orb +2 in your Dynamax. So you just SD after forcing a switch, and it's gonna blow a few mods back in max. Even then, even if I don't use T-Tar as a setter, Max Rock still sets my sand. And this thing is still a decent speed tier, 88. It's not a bad speed by any means. Actually, wait, no. I think it's 68. Truthfully, I forget. But I have to check. I know that Drill, like Exo-Drill is 88. Drillbur, 68. 68 still isn't bad with +2. To put it in perspective, I believe that 62... so 62 at level 50. The hit's 132. So that is at +2, 264. Which I believe outpaces Scarf Darm. I know it's at least outpaces Scarf Darm. I know that much. 264. That's really fast. Definitely outpaces like any non-Scarf Dragapult. I think that the math is that everything Galvantula and above outpaces, which is actually really good for a tier 5 mod. Sadly no Stoutland this gen, otherwise I would have hopped on Stoutland even if it was like tier 3, to be honest. But, I mean, I thought Drillbur was really clean because of the max captain rules. It's a nice rocker if I want it as a suicide rocker. It's also Rapid Spin, so it does give me another removal option. So this thing does have options. I thought it was honestly a really worthwhile pick for that reason. So we'll see how it does. Also, because of the max rules, Sandforce could be destructive on really slow teams. And without the immediate speed that a lot of teams are going to have, like in Gen 7, this might actually be a not bad speed tier for it. Depending on the circumstances, of course. So, we'll see how that happens. I'm looking forward to this, guys. If you guys are looking forward to this, leave a like down below. Check out all the draft analysis of all the coaches linked down below. Week 1, we're going to take on Mid Pokemaster, coach of the Kentucky Torcats. Really looking forward to this game. I think you guys will be too. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.